Call to order the Board of Public Works for Tuesday, May 12th. Item 1 on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the May 5th, 2020 meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Item 2, make recommendation for the 2020 Bridge Street Bridge Repair Project. Bids were open on May 5th.
Right, so this is for the Bridge Street Bridge repairs, which includes repair of the spalled concrete. So I guess I can back up a little bit. We did it in a base bid, and then we had alternate bids with it. And so the alternate bids were, not all of them were mandatory. It was what they could do. So the base bid was to repair the spalled concrete and repair the joints on the end of the bridge. The apparent low on that was Norcon from the bid tabs that you have at $655, $567. And then Norcon, if you look at the alternates, was also low with the polymer overlay. So if we go with the base bid and the polymer overlay, obviously recommend Norcon at $815, $962.80. The next, what we'd look at would be the concrete overlay, which is a little higher. It's like a 2-inch overlay. The low on that would be would be Lunda. If we took that alternate at $1,023,040.65. Just Ayers did the design. Speaking with Ayers and their design engineer, obviously the concrete overlay is preferred just because it gives the bridge, they're estimating 15 to 20 years of life, where the polymer overlay, we're talking 7 to 10 years. Yeah, the difference is about $207,000 to upgrade to the concrete overlay. So I think I'll let Mary Ann speak to the budget. I think we had budgeted $900,000 on this project. So obviously the polymer overlay fits within that budget.
Yeah, Alan called me this morning and said his preference would be the concrete masonry overlay because of its extended useful life. I did look to see if we could fund it from another funding source, and it looks like Kickbush came in under budget, and so that would be, it would require a budget mod, but we could, bring that before.
What's the total we need? A little over 100,000?
123,000, yeah.
123.
So Alan, that's bid in such a way, they bid the base bid and then the two alternates, so even though Norcon is the lowest on two of them because they didn't bid on the masonry overlay option, they get bounced if we decide to go that way?
The way that was written is that the city reserved the right to pick alternates to best fit their,
Okay,
it wasn't, the low bid wasn't going to be based upon the base bid.
okay,
It was going to be based upon the base bid plus whatever alternate the city chose.
all right, thank you.
But we gotta
Right.
prove it with, going for a budget mod.
Yeah,
And if that
it's
fails,
sticky.
then
Then,
One of my concerns with that is, I don't know how long that would take, because there is it's a long project. It's a lot of work. The joints that they have to order are 8 to 10 weeks out. So the first thing they'd have to do is order the joints. So I would, that's one of the issues with waiting, is they may not be able to get to the concrete overlay this year if we wait, which we're pushing up against it now.
so Alan explained to me that the concrete joints are going to depend on what kind of finish you put. So, because the concrete adds inches to it, so you need, right?
So Mary Ann had asked me, could we, do the base bid this year and do the concrete overlay next year, maybe budget for it next year. But unfortunately, the way it works is, in my understanding of it, is that with the concrete overlay leaves the deck 2 inches higher, and those joints sit on each end and they sit in the middle. So those joints have to be 2 inches higher, so you can't leave them 2 inches higher and wait for the, so if we do the polymer overlay, the joints are left lower. If we do the concrete overlay, they're left higher to accommodate the concrete overlay. So it's kind of a,
So
because
in other
those-
words, you almost have to pick one of the two options to go with the
Right.
base bid out of the
And-
gate, or just do the base bid.
Or just do the base bid, correct, because we didn't know where these numbers were gonna come in. We were a little bit worried with all the DOT work coming in, where these numbers would come in. And they actually came in, quite a bit below the engineer's estimates, so we're very happy with the numbers. That's kind of the way we did it with the base bid, because we didn't even know if we'd be able to get the polymer overlay for under the $900,000. The fact that we could get the polymer overlay for under 900 makes us happy, but we did get good numbers. And, we knew the concrete overlay was a stretch. The estimate had it coming in at like 1.2 to 1.3 million. So we were happy to see it come in at just over $1 million, but, if we wouldn't have bid it, we wouldn't have known. But now that we're so close, but I understand it's a process to.
How many
over.
more years of life does it add?
There's no guarantee for life. They were saying a concrete overlay could get up to 15 to 20 years. A polymer, they're expecting 7 to 10. It's all going to depend on how the bridge reacts. Right now, those joints are the most immediate need. And if you've been over the Bridge Street Bridge, you can see actual holes starting to develop in the deck that need to get taken care of. So, with the base bid, we are doing what needs to be done for the major repairs. It's overdue, but it's a great project to get done. Just to note, we are getting $450,000 from the county in bridge aid for this. So we applied for bridge aid from the county, and we are getting it. They're going to half the project. We had told them a $900,000 estimate, so they're going to give us $450,000 over 4 years. They couldn't budget it all in 1 year, but we are getting over for the 4-year period. At most, they said if they can fund it in 3, they will, but at most, it'll be 4 years to get the 450.
So the base project could get done this year and the polymer overlay?
Yes.
They
this-
could both get done this year?
Yes.
It sounds like it's an urgent need. Something that we really shouldn't be putting off till next year.
Right. Council and Finance are meeting tomorrow. I recognize that the rule is established so that the council has sufficient time to digest and consider the things that are placed before them, but this is a perfect example of why we, can add things. They just have to wait 2/3 vote. So if we wanted to do a budget mod, it's going to require 2/3 vote anyhow. You could do that, and you'd have your decision by the end of the day, well, by Thursday morning. But I guess that would be, if because we have the fund, we would have sufficient budget, so it's just a budget mod.
Right.
It's not like we're asking for new dollars, and you're extending potentially doubling, right? 7 versus 15, doubling that.
When I talk to heirs, the next step after, we do these repairs is a complete deck replacement and painting of the understeel, and that's about a $15 million project that we have to consider when this reaches its life. So, that's the next step, is a major deck. The structures, the abutments and everything would be good. The steel, they would tear it right down to the steel, repaint the steel, and put a new deck on it for about $15 million is the next step.
So if you can delay 15 million,
Right.
7 years,
Yeah.
that's pretty good if you ask me, for additional $100,000.
Yeah, I don't mind bringing it tomorrow at all. Would the mayor have to approve that going on the agenda, or is it the?
It would be the
Yeah, I
Finance
would
Committee
think so.
chair, right? Oh, and the mayor for council.
Finance and council.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'd have to put it on both.
Yeah.
Yeah, the two chairs, yep, 2 presiding officers.
So if it doesn't pass, then we would just step back and just do the polymer overlay, so what we have. So then,
I guess that would give clear direction.
right. So make the motion to approve the project, the base bid of the project.
Or why don't we table it until Thursday morning, see what the council does. Do you want to do that? And then we can just reconvene as the board?
Are we have another meeting for the board? Okay, you wanna do that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
If that doesn't delay anything at all.
No, when we do it first.
No, and I think we'd be fine, you know, later this week or next, even Tuesday. I just didn't want to delay it a month.
No,
Yeah.
but I
You know what
think,
I mean?
I think maybe putting together a memo with what you've described to us about all of this stuff would be very helpful for them, Alan.
Okay.
Not to put more work on your plate, but they should be made aware of this
Yep.
$15 million step a few years down the road and the lives of these bases and
So the longer we can.
so on
stretch
and
that
so
out, the
forth.
better. Okay,
Okay.
all right.
It's weird Norcon didn't bid on that because they're concrete people, right?
Yeah, they don't have the ability to do that concrete overlay,
Oh, just.
just the polymer.
Okay, and
Yep,
the
it takes a
replacement
special,
that
it
cut-
takes a certain paving machine
Oh, okay.
to do it. It's a big investment to own that paving machine, and they don't own that paving machine.
Oh, got it.
So they'd have to release it or whatever. I'll move we go into closed session pursuant to section 19.85D and 1G with stats for the purpose of considering and deliberating on pre-qualification statements for the Bridge Street pedestrian crossing project and for the purpose of deliberating on claims.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.